Check, check, check. Alright, what's up? You know, if I'm sitting right here, I'm probably about to be talking about some real stuff, man. Q&A. Stick with me on this story. If you're maybe stuck in a dead-end job, you want to get your business off the ground, or you're stuck working for someone else and you're pulling your hair out and you want a breakthrough, this video is for you. You're in the right place. I got an email and I'm going to conceal your identity and your age and the details of your email so nobody knows who you are except for you and I, and that's okay. So as I read this, of you out of like 50,000 people, if you see this, it's okay. I would never ever reveal your identity. I really care. Okay, so and so, we'll call him John Smith, said, "Hi Keith, my name is John Smith, different name. I'm 27, different age, from Minnesota, different state." So my name is John Smith, I'm 27, from Minnesota. I've been doing landscaping for many years now with the same company. And then he goes on to say he's been working for a friend's company and for many years, and he's pulling his hair out because after all these years his friend hasn't grown the company, hasn't moved up into like leading crews and supervising into a full career with money coming in, and he's kind of stuck in the same stagnant spot. And you're pulling your hair out because now you feel like your friend has been taking advantage of you all these years. All he cares about his own money and his own success, and now you feel like you've been taken advantage of, and to the point where you are feeling angry, like you just want to lash out on him, like, "You bastard, how could you do this to me all these years?" And you're thinking about starting your own company, but he's been 1099ing you, and now it's kind of maybe messed you up with taxes, or you don't have any savings, and you're just going deeper in the hole because you're not making good money, and you're just like a worker bee, and all these years have gone by. So you're ready to leave, you're ready to launch, to start your own company, but you're just pulling your hair out because you don't know what to do, and maybe you don't have any startup money to start your own business. You're just totally trapped. Okay, this is what I want to share. Can I sit up straight? Yeah, you can see me. I want to tell you a story. Back when I was about 25, I worked for this guy, a lawn care company, and I actually had to go back and work for this guy again for like another season when my life fell apart even worse. So I was 25. It was Sunday. I had worked for this guy for about 2 years straight. I was making like $12 an hour on a Laser Z rider all day, weed whipping apartment complexes. I mean, we worked a lot. We worked at least 50 hours a week on Saturdays, pushing the lawn boy up, and it was just so exhausting that you can't even lay in bed to recuperate because you got so much to do. It was a slave life. It was what Brennan Burchard, High Performance Academy, that I just got back from in Phoenix, Arizona. It was amazing. He talks about living in the caged life, where your life is in a cage. So one day on a Sunday, I woke up and I was so mad at this guy that I worked for because he was always go, 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 just riding us constantly. I mean, we'd pull up at the gas station in the morning, tired as hell on the Friday. Come on, come on, come on. He was just go, like, we'd have to rip the trailer door down, rip the mowers down, get the gas in the mowers, and like everything had to be 100%, and we'd have to rush in and get our snacks and treats if we did. And we only went to the gas station maybe twice a week if we got gas, with no special stops. And we're just constantly rushing. And on lunch break, man, if you didn't bring a lunch or we stopped somewhere, you better run your ass in there, get that, and you're eating, like Chris Rock's jokes about, we were eating on the way out. I'm getting somewhere. Just hang with me. I'm talking about the caged life. And you're gobbling up your food as you're pulling the trailer door and finishing your lunch on an effing mower. It was so frustrating. I mean, there's no time to make a phone call or do anything. It was a complete slave life. Even as I talk about it, it was just like, and I have a couple friends who worked for him too, and that's pretty standard for a lawn care landscape company. That is pretty standard for success, I guess. And if the owner is stuck in his own fears, or he's tried to expand his company and it's not, unless you or I was really, really willing to go up to that owner and be like, "Listen, dude, I'm 100% committed. I want to run a crew. Let's get into supervision. Let's expand this business. I'll run this part of the operations. You can trust me. I'm not going nowhere, dude." And if you really showed that level of leadership, here's one thing. and help that owner let go of his terrifying grip of or whatever he might be psychologically experiencing. And because I know, just quick loop here, in my own business, I've had probably about 40 different guys work for me, and most of them ended up in just stuff that's make me scared to try to even grow my business. Because I mean, if you just the lack of initiative and the lack of leadership and the lack of giving a shit. I mean, I feel like I'm just hiring people to just take advantage of me and just take my money and screw that, right? So that's where I fall short. Now, I'm finding this common theme among small business owners. They just own a job, and so if you consider that the guy you're working for all these years, I mean, hey, he might be in his own thing, and it's never going to work here. You could try as much as you want. Read the book by Spencer Johnson. I think it's Spencer, called Who Moved My Cheese, where the mouse just keeps trying. I mean, the mouse eats the cheese, and when it's gone, he goes somewhere else in the maze to find cheese. But human beings are like, we're messed up. We will keep repeatedly trying to find cheese in the same spot until we turn into skin and bones and die. Like, there's no cheese there anymore. It's gone. So what part of our identity or your identity is trapped, even though you're 27 now? You know who you are, but you're not 27. But even though you're 27 now, maybe there's a part of your brain that's still stuck back when you were like 20, and you can't break out of this. It's become enmeshed in your identity, and now you're trapped in the caged life. So you can't break free out of it because you're afraid. It's fear of the unknown. If you don't have any money to start your own business, here's another one. You could be like, oh, I'm going to go work for a big company where there's opportunity. There ain't no opportunity in a big company. You will literally become in charge of like 10 guys, and you will work your life away, and you'll make like $1 or $2 more an hour. They pay you just enough so you don't leave, and just enough to keep you there. Just enough so you can just work your 50, 60 hours a week and barely live in a mobile home or a one-bedroom apartment and have no retirement or nothing. Just enough to keep you in that trap. The hell is that? 1 second. That's weird. My other phone just turned on. But so here's the breakthrough moment. Same one I had. I didn't have enough money to start my own business. I didn't know how. On that Sunday morning, sorry, my neighbor's dogs. Our dogs bark a lot too. They're barking up a storm right now. I gotta close my door. That's one thing about making videos, man, constant distractions. Okay, so on a Sunday morning, I woke up. I was blaming my shortcomings on my boss. I grabbed a knife. I would never hurt anybody, but it was just like I was expressing myself. I was like 25. And I go, I want to effing kill him. I started hyperventilating, and I was like, and I started walking. I put the knife down. I would never hurt anybody, but it's just like, I was being a total victim bitch. That's what I was, just being a victim, right? I went outside and I was pacing around the shitty little tiny, one-bedroom apartment that I lived in. I could barely make the bills outside on a Sunday on the phone, and I called him up. I'm calling him right now. I call him up. We'll call him Bob. Bob? Hey, what's going on, Keith? I effing hate working for you, and you run me like a dog, and I'm so stressed out, and dude, I just want to punch you in the face. And I just went off on him. You take advantage of me, dude. I've been working for you for 2 years. I kill myself on my time every day. And you know what he said to me after I just let him have it, bro? I'm like, I was at that point where I went insane, and I was ready to quit or get fired, or I didn't care anymore. I was done, even though I had no other opportunities, because my brain hadn't broken through that I could start my own business with no money. He goes like this. He goes, wow. I go, what? He goes, Keith, it sounds like you're really, really stressed out working for me. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't know all this. If you were that stressed out working for me, maybe it's just best maybe you go find something else or go. And I was like, what? And then I calmed down real quick and I was, never mind, I'll see you Monday. He's like, okay. He probably just thought I was blowing off steam. And I went Monday and I worked for him for another like year. Or another 6 months or whatever. And because he just like, I realized that the whole problem was my victimhood. It was my identity issues. It didn't have anything to do with him. He was just a guy trying to hustle and run a business, and he was a good guy. Like, he bought his lunch on Fridays. The checks always cashed. It was totally legit, and he didn't owe me anything. Your boss doesn't owe you anything. Your boss doesn't owe you anything except for hours worked. Did a good job. He genuinely appreciates the work, but he doesn't, I want to cuss so bad right now. He doesn't owe you anything. And for you to think that he owes you something, to me, I think of like father issues and daddy issues and stuff. So there's a psychological weird thing going on in a lot of boys and men and even grown men that didn't have a father or a mother, that didn't have a father in your life. A masculine father, like Mustafa and the Lion King type shit, to be there to take you fishing and show you how to be a man, and something like that father image. So we grow up and we can actually become attached to bosses, this is really messed up, but like, there's a part of the subconscious mind that goes, Dad? Oh my God, this is so weird, right? Like, Dad? Like, we're looking for that masculine fatherly role or some, like, there's these weird boundaries in the brain that are in the emotions, that's these chemicals that are firing. You know, I may be wrong, it might not be your issue, but we're looking for someone to tell us what to do, someone to take the lead so we don't have to take responsibility for our own life. Because to take responsibility for your own life is like the hardest thing to do sometimes, because of the fear of the unknown. Like, oh my God, I gotta step out into total like insecurity, into uncertainty. We're terrified of uncertainty. We will actually suffer. This is Tony Robbins right now. We will suffer with a certainty and security in a situation that we absolutely hate, just because we know that paycheck's coming and it's that for sure money, right? This is what Bren Burchard talks about now. We're going from the cage life to the comfortable life. The comfortable life is like where you're not happy, but at least you know the bills are getting paid and you have a sense of certainty, and you're still kind of behind bars and things are kind of okay, and at least you can sustain it. Like, that's like a really bad place to be. And comfortable life is also like when you're making good money. You could be making good money and have a leadership role, but you're just not happy, you're not fulfilled. And then the next thing is like the charged life, is where you like have this breakthrough and now you're crushing it and you're getting it and you're facing your fears, you're facing upgrading your identity and no longer filtering your information that's coming into your life and your psychology, filtering it through the old younger you who is suffering. And check this out. There's a thing in psychology called the stable datum. So imagine that your consciousness, the billions of neural networks in your brain are going like this, and they're gripping onto things and creating pathologies, and they're stable datums so you can actually function in life and have senses of certainty. So imagine if 10 years ago there was a hurricane and those dogs will not stop barking. This is my practice. Okay, 10 years ago there was a hurricane and you had nothing, like your life was falling apart, right? It was tearing apart the city. A palm tree, you grab onto a palm tree and it saves you, and the palm tree is bending over, but it saves you. So the neural network in your brain wires that that's safe, it's stable. Then the hurricane clears and all of a sudden everything's fine and the sun's out shining and it's beautiful, but you're still gripped to this thing like, oh my God. And 5 years goes by and you're still stuck on that thing. No, I can. But it's not practical anymore. The thing that used to save you, it saved you then, is now the thing that's holding you back and hurting you, right? The thing that used to protect you is now the thing that is causing everything else in your life. It's like a big rock in a river and everything's trying to move around it. It's like, it's a sticking point. You're stuck. So imagine if you're stuck in this whole job and you're like, I can't get out. Well, if you get in, you kind of send energy into that thing and then massage that pathology and work that out and break up that neural network and get the energy flowing back into awareness. there's all these stable datums all over the place. We're gripping to all these things to realize, oh, that's an old identity. What if I upgrade my identity into a new courageous me, a new bold me, a new me who is willing to step into the unknown, take responsibility for my shit that I'm pointing and blaming somebody else. Because when you get to the point where you feel like nobody understands you, like nobody understands what me or what I'm going through, I'm suffering, I'm going through this thing, and it's, you know, that's when you're just going to keep going downhill really fast, and it'll get worse and worse and worse. So you know what? I no longer blame that person. Ho'oponopono prayer. I love you, forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry. I love you, forgive me for being a dick. Thank you so much for everything you've taught me in my life, and I'm sorry if I've ever done you wrong in any way. And the very person that was your enemy can now become your affiliate. You can start your own business with no money. That's what my whole channel is about. And literally just go out and start doing side jobs at night. My landscape boss, my nickname was Side Job Keith, because every night after work, bro, I had a side job. I was like, oh shit, dog, I'm exhausted. I'm sleeping in between lawns on the side on the truck bench. And I'll wake up and I'll cut that lawn. But dude, tonight when I got off work at 6 o'clock, I'm going out till dark. And I'm gonna trim shrubs for $150 with my piece of shit shrub trimmer. Boom, 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 boom. Side Job Keith. Took him 6 weeks for Side Job Keith to start his own business. I was going out in the back of my wife's car, and then I bought a piece of shit pickup truck that was falling apart with rust all over it. And then I went out and bought like a shitty wheelbarrow, rake, tarp blower, any little thing that I could do. I built my business off on my hands and knees, pulling weeds in the dark on Sundays. Side Job Keith. Called him up on a Saturday. Dog, I was like, I got an eye problem. I can't see coming in. You know what I'm saying, dog? And then now I call up all my old landscape bosses, and I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm just trying to express transformation. I call up my old bosses, and I'm friends with that guy now. Like, dude, now I see what you were going through, bro. I've had people work for me, and I've experienced how hard it is when they're looking at me like I'm supposed to give them all this opportunity, and I'm just trying to make it myself and work my way all these kinks out in my business. I've got so much to learn. He's like, now you see. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry for that time, and thank you for this, but you were an asshole, but now I get it, right? Like, he's just... I think you get my point, man. So when you move into the charged life, you can literally transform and upgrade your identity. Think of a word. It could be bold, it could be courageous, it could be confident. Whatever that new you is, now you say, how would the confident or courageous me deal with this situation? How would the courageous me deal with the fears I'm experiencing right now? How would the courageous me deal with this? Oh my God, this little dog is just a jump on my lap. I love it. So how would the courageous you deal with that? Even though your stomach's turning, you're like, whew, okay, this is the brutal reality of my situation. It's not going to get any worse. And now if you're living your life on the edge all the time, at some point you've got nothing more to lose. Sure, you might fall behind even more things, but you could literally end up homeless on the street. And I think by facing that brutal reality and getting scared out of your wits, that compels you. For me, it was fear into pure action. To now, like, you'll do whatever you have to do every second of every moment of every day. I worked 7 days a week for like 3.5 years straight. 80 to 100 hours a week, on an average of 90 hours a week for 3 to 4 years straight. And then I backed down to 70 hours a week, and then 60. And then I started a media business. I have a landscaping business, window cleaning business. They're the same entity, and then a whole new entity. It's my digital media business, and I'm still working like 80 hours a week now, because I know that emergency savings, like you get these resolutions in your life. I don't ever want to go back to that. And I think that once you fight your way out of this like situation, and you look back in like 3-4 years, you'll want to go back and hug that guy. You'll want to hug yourself and say, you know what, dude? I'm not mad at you I don't blame you for how you felt. You were just stuck for all these reasons why. And you courageously made it out. and you're still young. You've got your whole life ahead of you. And if you could see yourself in 5 to 15 years and see, oh my God, I really am gonna become a successful dude. I really am gonna like have a nice place and drive a new car and have money in the bank and be able to go on vacations or whatever it is to you, right? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Like, I think when you come from that place, you can let the victim story go and start boldly, confidently crushing it and moving into your dreams and move from the cage life out of the comfortable life and then get into the charged life where you're charged and you're fired up now. You're facing your fears and you're chasing your dreams. So that's it right there, man. I need a drink of this water. Mickey, I love my doggy. Come here. He was diagnosed with megaesophagus. He cost me $1,000 at the vet 2 weeks ago. At any moment, this dog could go into pneumonia and die. His esophagus is paralyzed. The peristalsis effect in his esophagus, it will not push food down. So we have to put him in an upright chair and feed him and clock him and time him on special medicines. It's expensive. It's time consuming. My wife has been bawling her eyes out. I cried too. He's an 11-year-old Lhasa Apso. My wife loves this dog more than she loves me. So we're upset. We had a hard last couple of weeks because the dog has good days and bad. He's having a good day right now, but when he has a bad day, he's puking all over the floor. His food could regurgitate and go into his lungs and literally give him pneumonia and kill him. He could be dead within 72 hours if things don't. So it's a very sensitive. He's a special needs dog now. So, all right, I'm gonna run errands. I gotta do stuff. Yeah, she's a good boy. He's a good boy. Alright, take care. Peace be with you, my friend.